You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
The Herons are champs. Yeah. Roll south to Freedom Park, rockin' pink and black. Official tissue in the 305, bounty full of grapes. The Battered Fan with Chris and Dan dropping hot takes. Messi and the Herons start the season with a star on the crest. So 29 fan bases can cry, cause we the best. Sign homegrowns like Noah, Frey and Ruiz, replacing goats with grapes. Yeah, Miles got the cheese and he called it. Freedom to dream was the backbone. From Lockhart to Miami, it feels good to be at home. Multiple times a week on YouTube and audio. Take the time to subscribe, like and share the show. So check and chat, grab your MLS cup and coming. No question about it, I'm ready to get a star again.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Herons are back. Welcome everybody to episode number 539 of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel. Get on it alongside me, as always, the KBD. How are you doing, sir?
I'm kind of sad, Danny, because my third favorite team is not great right now.
That's fair. That's fair. Now, do you feel better that 24 hours later, Casemiro's going to be here and you're excited? Oh, he's so distraught.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he's not going to be here like.
Not before Sunday.
Oh, well, yeah, my connection is horrible, but yeah, not before Sunday, but like, yeah, I'm happy for it. Yeah, man. Who doesn't love big names going to teams right now?
Philadelphia doesn't.
Well, yeah, they don't. They'll take a.
They basically go.
They'll cook
they go
from the
thrift
ground
shopping
up.
for their players.
Let them cook. Yeah.
All right.
Hey, you find some good stuff there at the thrift shop.
So, without further ado, we are having a preview show for the upcoming matchup Sunday, the last game before the 2-month break. We're hosting Philadelphia Union. We won our first game, so the curse has been lifted. So it is possible to win at New Stadium, and we're playing against the worst team in the Eastern Conference. Are they the worst team in the league or just the Eastern Conference at this moment? I'm sure Todd Delgado will have that answer. So without further ado,
it's the worst
Todd
team in the
Delgado
league
to the program. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. As Chris says, the worst team in MLS, the Philadelphia Union. The only team in MLS to have just one win. Just one win. Every other team in the league has multiple wins, but the Philadelphia Union.
Isn't it crazy that you were the best team last year?
Yeah. I don't think anybody would have seen this big of a drop off, but yeah, I think it's
St. Louis fans would have.
Yeah. I think St. Louis had a lot more issues at their club than just Bradley Cornell. And it shares with 3 other managers after Cornell gets sacked, but that can be a discussion for another day.
Chris? Well, I think Chris has left us. Quinn Sullivan.
I have no idea because it just cut off. Yeah, no, my connection is coming LA Galaxy. Sorry, because they're the worst, and luckily for Sporting KC, they got 2 wins, so they're not the worst team ever.
Okay, well, Philadelphia's the worst. Thank you for your contribution, Chris. All right, Todd, Quinn Sullivan, is that one of the anchors in your midfield last season? I thought the most underrated player and probably the MVP of the team that people didn't even talk about. You don't think that he was one of the best players on the team last year? Quinn Sullivan?
Nah.
Okay. So I thought that was a big contributor.
Player.
Okay,
yeah,
but you lost Kai Wagner also
in the first half of the season, but it's hard to say that that Quinn had a big part of the second season because he got injured. He played a game or 2 in the second half of the season, and then was done for the rest of the season. So yeah, I mean, Quinn had an unbelievable first half of the season. It earned him a call up to go with the US to the Gold Cup, but yeah, after he returned from the Gold Cup, didn't do much, and then winds up tearing his ACL, unfortunately, against DC United.
So
same thing can be said about Ty Bariba, right? I mean, people would argue Ty Bariba was one of the biggest players for the Union last year, and yeah,
but he fell off in the second half.
Exactly. So,
yeah.
I mean, all in all, I think this drop off was to be expected, just not this big of a drop off.
Is there any theories as to what happened though?
Probably selling too many key players. Mikal Ua leaves on a free. There was talks that they were in discussions to try to bring him back, but I think he already had his mind made up to go back home to Denmark. Signs with Midtjylland over in the Danish Super League, and I don't even believe that he's playing that much with them. Kai Wagner has always made it clear that he wants to go back to Europe, and Philadelphia Union finally got a offer from Birmingham City and wind up selling Kai Wagner to Birmingham. You can say that it was the right move. Very first game for Kai Wagner in Birmingham gets an assist. Next game gets a goal. So was a phenomenal half season for Kai Wagner in England, and yeah, the fans really came to adore him. Jacob Glesnes, yeah, I would argue that was probably the right move for the Union, just because he's an aging defender. And yes, I know he put up Defender of the Year numbers, but the Union fans a year prior in 2024 were saying, "Oh, move off from Jacob Glesnes. He's past it now. He's not good." And comes out and puts up an incredible 2025 to his credit. And the Union probably weren't going to get an offer as high as they did, a little bit over $1 million in GAM from LA Galaxy. So, yeah, I have no problem with that. And then Ty Baribo, I think, is the one that probably upsets the fan base the most, continues to score with DC United. But the Union made it clear they were never going to pay Ty Baribo what he was asking for. And I have no problem with a player or an agent saying, look, pay me what I'm worth. Obviously, DC United was comfortable paying Ty a little over $2.4 million a season, making him a designated player who was not one in Philadelphia. And again, I look at his second half of the season, complete drop off. And so, yeah, I understand where the front office was coming from, not wanting to give Ty what he wanted. But he's a player that said, look, my first half of the season is more like me. And yeah, so far, first half of the season MLS, yeah, Ty Baribo is doing what he did in Philadelphia, score goals. But yeah, I would say a lot of key guys. You lose two defenders in Kai Wagner and Jacob Glesnes that were a big key in the Union, conceding a league low 35 goals last season. Awethu Makanya, who played next to both of them, the other center back for the Union, was phenomenal last year. And a lot of that makes sense because you're playing next to two solidified defenders in the league, and now where you're tasked to be the guy, maybe you're exposed a little bit. So I think, yeah, it's maybe too many changes, way too short of a time. And the Union do go out and spend a little bit over $10 million, bring in a total of 6 players, and all these guys are super young. I think the oldest guy that the Union brought in, 22 or 23 years old, Augustine Anello from Argentina he was playing in. He's an American, born in Miami, funny enough, and yeah, has dual citizenship with Argentina and the U.S. And he got an assist last week. He's been injured for most of the season, got hurt against Atlanta United early in the season, pulling his hamstring. But yeah, a lot of these guys that the Union brought in, super young, new to the league. And look, you guys, I know Bertarami isn't a younger player, and he's not adjusted to life as InterMiami fans would have wanted. And we know that as fans of MLS following this league, that's how it goes sometimes. It takes players quite some time to adjust to a new league, new culture, new team. And yeah, I think so many changes for the Union, so many young guys coming to this team, this league, the very first time in their career. It's an adjustment period.
I know the people that click on this to hear the preview of the Philadelphia game, I know that they're going to be interested in finding out about Cavan, right? Cavan Sullivan is the young kid that people have been talking about since he was like 14 at this point. I think he's 16 now. And he's finally getting some playing time. He had his first goal a week or two ago, at least in the regular season. I think he had one in the Open Cup or something in the past. What could you tell us about Cavan Sullivan? How is he looking? Because I'm sure that's what people are interested in hearing about.
Yeah, Cavan's been phenomenal. Started the last 4 to 5 games, scores his very first MLS goal against Orlando City. Man, it's Wednesday, so a week ago. Yeah, time flies. Yeah, a week ago, comes off the bench in the first half of that game, replaces Jovan Lukic, who we still don't know what exactly was wrong with him. Cornell keeps saying fatigue, and all the medical tests came back fine. His vitals looked fine, and left in the second half of the game against Columbus Crew over the weekend. And again, Cornell said, yeah, he just doesn't look like the same player. So who knows exactly what's going on? But yeah, Cavan comes off the bench against Orlando City. And yeah, I mean, you guys know, right? That crazy 4-3 game down in New Stadium. They're not great defensively. You guys
No, they're terrible.
probably should have came away with at least a point, but
Yeah.
you guys wind up conceding late in that game, just like the Philadelphia Union did against Orlando City. And so Cavan comes in and makes a mess of it for Orlando City on the right side of the field. A lot of 1v1s that he's winning, dribbling, going at defenders, making it very complicated. And yeah, that was the coming out game for Cavan Sullivan in MLS. And it's been building for weeks and weeks. You see him getting more and more confident. Had a chance actually, Danny, against Columbus Crew to win the game for the Union. Free kick, 94th minute. A little bit of controversy before that free kick was taken because Augustine Anello wanted to take it. Nathan Harriel, who has been the captain for the Union when it's not Andre Blake or Alejandro Bedoya, has to separate them and says, nope, Cavan's going to go ahead and take this. And they wind up hugging afterwards and everything. And it doesn't seem like there's any issue between the two. But yeah, Cavan, after a goal, after an assist against Orlando City, yeah, you could see why he wanted to step up and take that free kick and have another moment, Danny, in this game to win it. Have his LeBron moment, just call his shot, put it in the back of the net, and walk off with the Union's second win of the season. Doesn't happen. Does put the shot on target, but straight at Patrick Schulte on the ground. Funny enough, though, looking at that game, the Union only had 5 shots on target, and 4 of those 5 shots came from Cavan Sullivan. So, yeah, he's definitely in fine form right now for the Union. I would argue probably the player in the best form right now for the Philadelphia Union. You can make an argument for Ben Bender as well, who's played back-to-back games at left back, had a secondary assist last week against Columbus Crew, had a goal against Orlando City, had an assist against Orlando City. Milan Lasky, I know, and scored now in back-to-back games against Orlando City, against Columbus Crew. But yeah, I would say Cavan Sullivan's been the Union's best player here the last couple of games.
We've been playing well against teams that press us high and press us aggressively. What could we expect from Philadelphia? Are they gonna be going with that game plan?
Yeah, I mean, the Union are a pressing team, but I would argue, and you guys will probably see this, and I don't know how well it will show being in the stands. I would imagine you and a whole bunch of the listeners are going to be in the stands for that game, and the Union aren't pressing as much as they did last season, or at least it doesn't look to be as fluid. They are pressing, don't get me wrong, but it's not as fluid as Bradley Cornell and that coaching staff would like. And we saw the Union press multiple times against Columbus Crew, and Crew, yeah, I know that they had just fired Henrik Rudstrom after the 1-1 draw on Sunday, but Columbus passed out of the press with ease multiple times during that game on Sunday. And so there's enough quality in this InterMiami side where I think we'll see something similar like we saw against the Columbus Crew. Philadelphia, they're sending the press, but there's enough quality by InterMiami just to pass out of that press.
Right, and they're going very direct, and the hold-up play is great. Once we get out of the press, we get the ball into the midfield. If it gets to the foot of Luis Suarez or Messi, they hold up and everybody releases, and then it's just direct through balls or balls over the top to catch somebody running in stride. And that's how we've been looking so much better over the last couple of weeks. So when teams try to press us, InterMiami usually makes them pay. I'm going to ask this question in all seriousness. What is the strength of the Philadelphia Union right now?
Strength. Oh, that's a good question.
That's why I wasn't a joke. Like, is there a strength?
Let me emphasize by saying I know the Philadelphia Union, and I know there's going to be Union fans listening to this podcast here. There always are when you guys have me on, and I'm appreciative of those Philadelphia Union fans that check out whatever I appear on. And I say this all the time on my show, right? And Union fans are, I'm sure, probably upset with me. I get it in sports. You are what your record says you are, right? Union only have 1 win in the season. But if you look at all the advanced metrics, Danny and Chris, the Union are playing below those advanced metric numbers. They've been very unfortunate. If you look at the advanced metrics, Opta has the Union at 17th place, I believe it is, 16th or 17th, which would put them around mid-table in the league. They've created chances. It's not like they're getting blown out, Danny. It would be one thing if the Union were just getting battered every single game, and it's not the case. The
they're not
big
sporting KC.
yeah, or look, here's an example, right? I don't know how many people here follow other teams around MLS. I don't know how many people just follow InterMiami. I would imagine that it's mostly just InterMiami and not the league itself. But the advanced metrics say that New England Revolution are one of the worst teams in the league, that they're playing above what
But they
their
are.
record is. They are.
They are. They're going to come back to earth.
And I agree with you. And so
Right.
I get it. People tell me all the time, data isn't everything. And I agree. I think it doesn't matter if it's soccer, it doesn't matter if it's football, NBA, baseball. Sometimes I think analytics data can be overused. At the same time, your eyes still matter. The eye test still matters. What you see happens still matters. But the Union have been very unfortunate, hitting the post, I think, 5 times in the last 6 games or whatever the number is. They've hit it an extreme amount of times. They've created chances in the final third. They're just not finishing off those plays. If you look at the Union too, they've been pretty solid defensively, I would say. Andre Blake really wasn't tested against Columbus Crew. I know Andrew Rick was tested, but when the Union are conceding these goals, when they're giving up chances, it's not because they're getting broken down by good quality from the opposition. It's because of bad touches. It's because of bad passes back by the Union. The Union are creating the mistakes themselves. And so credit to the oppositions. They're punishing the Union for those mistakes that they're creating themselves. But yeah, I wouldn't say that the Union are as bad as the record says they are. You ask me what I think their biggest strength is. I would say mentality, because they conceded the first goal in 10 of their 14 games this season, right? And it would be so easy for this team to, all right, well, here we go again. We just conceded again. Just lay down and concede. And that hasn't been the case this season at all with this team. They concede the first 2 goals against Orlando City last Wednesday. They're down 2-0, 27 minutes in. And they come out at the second half, and they have chances towards the end of the first half, and they can't convert them. And then they come back and get 2-1. And then they go down 3-1. And then they score the next 2 goals, make it 3-3. Have a chance to win the game against Orlando City. Against Columbus Crew, they concede the first goal yet again, 10 minute in. And Hugo Picard, world-class goal. I don't know if people watch it, but nothing Andre Blake could have done there.
Right.
But it's so easy for this team to say, well, here we go again, conceding. Let's just go ahead and lay down. Let's not even try. They don't do that. They don't do that. So I would say their mentality is probably their biggest strength.
I was just looking it up, and there's only 2 games that were decided by more than 1 goal. Atlanta, you lost 3-1, and I forgot what the other one was. I think it was also 3-1. No, 2-0 against Columbus, I believe it was. So outside of that, they've all been 1-goal games. You have a lot of draws thrown in there. What would you say is the weakness of the team then?
I mean, little mistakes. I talked about it, right? The Union just stupid habits. And I've talked to so many players, and they said, these are correctable mistakes. We just got to correct them. We got to stop making these mistakes. So they know what the issues are. And that's why I'm optimistic for this season. And I get it. There's a lot of Union fans that aren't. You're almost to the halfway point, only 1 win. We know this is the last game before the FIFA World Cup break. But you correct these mistakes. You correct the finishing ability. You could be right back in it. Look at Sporting Kansas City. Everybody dogs on them for being one of the worst teams, but I think they've won the last 2 games in MLS. And so, yeah, I think all the issues that the Union have had this season, I think they're correctable. They just got to stop making these little mistakes.
To your point, they are only 10 points out of a playoff spot. And I know that 10 sounds like a lot. It's really not. If you go on a hot streak of 4 or 5 wins, Yeah, 4 or 5 wins, or 6 or 7 games where you don't lose. You throw in a couple draws in with some wins, and you're right back in it. And it's still early enough in the season where you still have what? This is gonna be game number 15 for you guys, right? So game number 15. So you still have 19 games to go. So there's still
Majority of
plenty
those
of
games
time
are
to
at home.
focus. So they're not dead in the water yet. So it's gonna be interesting. So I guess we'll get into prediction time. Are there any people traveling for the game? Do you know?
Ooh, I'm not sure. It's a good question. That is
Okay.
a good question. I would imagine there will be some people. There wasn't a ton of people that traveled down to Orlando because, again, I mean, I understand people don't want to spend their hard-earned money, especially
No,
in this
on a team
economy
that's
too,
playing
where
so poorly.
everything's so expensive. Flights are expensive. Getting accommodations are expensive. Into Miami charges one of the most expensive away tickets for away fans. So I understand why
No.
fans want to go to this game. So I'm sure there's going to be fans down there, but probably not a ton.
Well, if there is a fair amount of fans, just Portland came out with like 100 fans, and they made a lot of noise apparently. So I don't know if Inter Miami's supporter groups are going to be making noise this year. I'm sorry, this game. But if they're not, Philadelphia will be heard through the TV.
All one of them. Just gonna attach
Hey,
to that one fan.
it was quiet. It was pretty quiet last week, so maybe that one fan will get through.
The
All
real
right,
question
so
is, were you quiet, Danny?
I wasn't at the game.
Oh man, look at you! You missed out on all the fun.
I did. I didn't even know because honestly, on the TV, I didn't feel like it showed as much. To be honest with you, but again, I don't put the volume very loud because I got my kids in the house and stuff. So I'm more. It's almost basically like listening to it on mute. To be honest with you. So, what is your prediction for the game this weekend?
Ooh, yeah, I mean the last two games that these two teams have played under Bradley Cornell, I get it. The Union haven't got a win yet. They had chances down in Miami last season. They were ahead twice against into Miami in Subaru Park, 1-0 and then 2-1, then 3-1, and then Messi's going to do Messi things, and then Segovia steals it very late in that game. But again, I mean, this is a Union team that has created chances as of late. They're just not capitalizing on those chances. I get it. 3 goals against Orlando City, but Orlando City's so bad defensively. They scored a goal against Columbus Crew. Probably should have had another goal against Columbus in that game, but I'll steal a line from what Taylor Twellman said prior to this game between Inter Miami and Portland Timbers. Said, yeah, you got to outscore Miami. If you want to win the game, you got to outscore Miami. And yeah, I don't see the Union having enough attacking power against Inter Miami in this game. So I can see it going 2-0 into Miami.
2-0 into Miami. I'm with you. You guys have scored what, 15 goals all year?
Yeah,
15 goals in 15 games. And Inter Miami has picked up steam because they become a lot more aggressive in the attack. They're playing a single pivot, and they're just releasing Segovia and DePaul to push up and contribute in the attack, and it's made a world of difference. Luis Suarez being there in the box to touch with Messi. Now that him and Berterame are both starting because all the wings are injured. It's made a difference, and I could see Miami putting up 2 or 3 goals. Can they get 2 clean sheets in a row? It's almost unheard of down here, but because Philadelphia's had such a hard time scoring, I think it's possible. So you said 2-0. I'll go 3-0. And then we got KBD that joined us at the very end of the show to give his prediction. What's going on, mister? How are you doing?
Not much better, I see. Huh.
I can't hear you, sir. Are you on mute?
It's definitely not on mute. That connection down in South Florida.
Hopefully the results. Yeah, that now. Yeah, I was on mute. Yeah, it was really bad. Hopefully the results of the game will be better than the results of my internet connection. Just in case, I'm just gonna leave this up 3-0. I'm gonna stick with the
3-0.
same.
Okay.
Inter
No,
Miami
you're good
wins against
You're good.
Philadelphia.
Okay, so you said 3-0.
So you know what? I'm gonna go
I said
3-1.
No way the Union score a goal.
2 clean sheets in a row is too much. I'm telling you, down here, a clean sheet's a big deal for us.
Indiana Vasilev getting a goal, easy.
Oh, Why'd you do that?
No way. No way. Let me add some more context because you guys might be convincing me to up it by another goal. So, full disclosure to everybody listening to this podcast, recording on Wednesday night, Philadelphia Union head coach Bradley Cornell has his media availability on Friday. We do know that Awethu Makanya, one of the Union center backs, will be suspended for this game due to yellow card accumulation. Jafet Siri has missed the last couple games with a shoulder injury that he suffered against Columbus Crew away. We'll see if he's good to go. Talking with Bradley Cornell in the media sessions, hasn't seemed optimistic that he would be available the last couple games. Again, it's the last game before the break. Why would you want to risk it? I know Frankie Westfield's also been sideline with an injury. Why would you want to risk it for him? So they've been playing Ben Bender out of position as a left back. Looked well, but let's not forget, if he's playing this game as a left back, he's going to be going against Messi. And good luck, Ben Bender, a natural attacking midfielder playing left back against one of the greatest dribblers of all time. I mean, the Union are going to have to double and triple team Messi, and even that's not enough. I mean, we've seen it over the years that Messi can get past the best of them. So they could go out there and play Philippe Ndinga, who they signed to be the left back replacement for Kai Wagner, but he's not looked good since he's been brought in by the club at the beginning of the season. Nathan Harriel, you could slot over at left back, who I would say is the best defender that the Union have at the club. But again, he's been playing right back because Frankie Westfield's been injured. I know they've experimented with Frankie Westfield at left back, but the Union do look a lot better on the right side of the field when Frankie's playing over there. And you can then play Nathan on the left to sit back and cover defensively for you. So, yeah, a lot of questions for Bradley Cornell. Jesus Bueno also got injured against Columbus Crew with an ankle injury. Will he be good to go this game? Danny and I were talking about Jovan Lukic, Chris, at the beginning of the show, had what Bradley Cornell called fatigue against Orlando City. Was it the heat that got to him? It's going to be even more humid farther down south in Miami. And I don't know, will he be at 100%? Had to leave the game at halftime against Columbus Crew. So Cornell keeps saying that, yeah, all the fitness tests looks fine, but I don't know. He hasn't been 100%. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, if Jovan Lukic can't play in full 90 minutes, if Jesus Bueno is still not available for this game, what do? Do you drop Indiana Vasilev as a number 6 like he did against Columbus Crew with Danley John Jock? I think that's possible. And then play Anello and Cavan Sullivan as your 2-10s. Yeah, it's a possibility. So, yeah, suspensions and injuries for the Union as of Wednesday play a factor into this game, and we'll see what happens come game time on Sunday.
Definitely should be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. And for InterMiami fans, you might be heading into the World Cup break on a high note, because if you win a game 2-3-0, get a clean sheet, you're feeling pretty good with the news of Casemiro probably coming, and other things are going to be happening. It's going to be a good time. Todd, appreciate you joining us as always. Let everybody know they can hear you.
Yeah, if you guys want to follow the podcast on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, follow at Free Kick Pod, wherever you get your podcast of The Free Kick. Check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/freekickpod, where I am live every single podcast with Jose Nunez. Midweek, the last couple of weeks, we've been having different MLS commentators joining us. Just had Jake Zivin, who's calling the game with Taylor Twellman this Sunday, preview the InterMiami match with me. So really great conversation. We spent, I would say, the first 30 minutes of that episode talking about InterMiami. So there's a reason why Miami fans should check out that interview with Jake, and then the rest of it was talking about Philadelphia Union. We went a little bit more in depth than what we did tonight here on the show, but yeah, enjoy talking with the different commentators from around the league. And then if you guys want to check out my writing, goals breakdown videos, or the podcast all in one place, thefreekick.substack.com. Always a pleasure joining you guys, and glad to see you guys are doing so good. I see 539, a ton of shows. I thought we at the Free Kick with 415 now. Thought that was a lot, but you guys, started the podcast? I feel like 2-3 years ago, and at 539, you guys, this is pretty much
we started.
When you guys already have full-time jobs, and
it's crazy.
You guys are crushing it. And like I said, it's always a pleasure when I get to join and speak with you guys.
Appreciate it. We started back in 2022, actually. So it's a 5th season, right? Yeah, it's a 5th
Yeah, it would be
season.
fifth,
Yeah.
Time flies.
Chris, any final words?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. All right, forget it, Chris. We
No,
don't
my
care.
internet
We don't care.
sucks, and hopefully the game's fun.
All right, if you're listening on audio, appreciate you listening to the end. Please leave 5 stars in the comment. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. And we will be back for the post game on Sunday night. So until the next one, have a good one.